This may look like I'm late to the party, but I'm actually not. I have heard that EverQuest Daybreak is going to release a new TLP. Reason I didn't make a video is because I just didn't care.
The thing is, Bob, it's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care.
Server's basically going to be dead on arrival. I kind of see what they're trying to go for with this type of server, but if they haven't figured it out yet, there are casual players left long ago. TLPs are normally too fast unlocking for casual players to keep up. And to give an example, I pretty much have been playing since 1999. And on Mischief, I joined a raiding guild, and even playing 4 hours, 5 hours a day, and then a lot more on the weekends, I found it really hard to keep my characters up to date with the raids. It seemed like every time I get home from work, we're going to go, I'm going to raid, or I only got 3 to 4 hours to try to accomplish some group missions or farmings. And then on the TLPs, the problem you run onto if you don't have a guild especially is that min-maxers, they all rush to the max level and to the max raid content. And it makes it really hard for players starting out or players that are moving slower to find a group. Most of EverQuest is made for group content, but there are no groups. There's groups on the TLPs if you can keep rush with the crowd. TLPs are not casual friendly at all. The closest they came was with the random bonus loot servers, because if you were a casual player, you took some time off to play, you could farm up some platinum and buy some of the better items. You didn't have to go to all the raids. You could buy chronos if you wanted to and exchange it into items. Played over Mischief for over a year, where it was like I had to take like a couple weeks off or whatever, summer, family, all that stuff happens, and then you're behind again. So the way you catch back up is to buy your way back into the game. And I also noticed that on the live servers, I maybe played up to like depths of Dark Hollow. And once it started going past that, it was really hard to understand what you were supposed to do in each expansion, unless you had that guild or some type of advice, like showing you like what all the features are. And it left virtually no time for someone that played EverQuest and was really familiar with EverQuest, especially at the beginning of expansions. It left almost no time for me to explore or learn the expansions before the next one came out. So once it got to that point, my 3 to 4 hours a day was no longer enough to now learn the content and keep pace, where before I had actually known the content, it was hard to keep pace. These TLPs are repetitive. This one is absolutely dead on arrival. The casual players left a long time ago to P99 emulation, sit on pop block servers, or they're just doing something else. There are literally almost no casual players left on these TLPs. That's not what TLPs are for. There are no longer the massive influx of players that are coming back to the TLPs to experience EverQuest. Everybody's been doing this since 2015 or so when they released the first TLP. You literally have the same group of min-maxers that like a fresh start and a few casual players that will hop on and play for a little bit and get bored and quit. So this server, to me, looks heavily geared toward the casual players. You have an insane amount of time locked to level 50, and then they just changed this. So they did good in one aspect because they released Shadows of Lucklin, which gets you can play the Ixar or the Vashir, you can play Beast Lord. It's kind of sad that they didn't go far enough where you could play the Berserker. They should implement that into the launch. You're level locked to 50, and they just changed this. This was worse before for 8 weeks, and then they'll increase it to 51, then after 8 weeks to 55, 8 weeks, 60. So basically there's 24, 32 weeks or something like that where you can get to level 60. That's not going to work. And I think the way that people are going to play this server is they're going to wait for that level 60 to unlock, and then they're going to pretend like the TLP just launched. This is not going to cater to casual players at all, or maybe even draw them back. It sounds really cool to be locked at level 50, but what's going to happen is the min-maxers are going to rush to level 50. Then you're going to have all this group content and nobody to group with for all the casual players that are slowly leveling up to 50. With emulation servers like the Hero's Journey, that's actually fixing some of the issues with EverQuest. I just don't see this server. I mean, every TLP is going to have like a launch crowd. And I see this server just like pretty much just dying off. The chance that this server succeeds or stays active is probably just as bad as Tormax was on the last launch. It's kind of telling that it's only one server this time. They're trying to force people in to play this. There are some different types of bonuses. I really don't like how they do this. Like on a server like the Hero's Journey, they will tell you what they're doing and why. And this reminds me of the old, like, you have to sign up, you have to click, you have to purchase to see like what you're going to get. And that's how like those old sale tactics were back in the day, where you have to like basically like buy something to see what's in it, instead of just being open and honest and telling you like what this is. There should be no mystery to this at all. They should give exact specific examples to what all of this means, including the following. They should, increase experience, they should actually have a demo of what that's going to look like. And maybe it's on a test server somewhere, and maybe it's in a video or somewhere else besides here, but just someone that's not going to dig super deep into it besides reading this and the forum posts, there should actually be a video promoting this. There should be no guesswork. People shouldn't be like, oh, I got to play to see what's going to happen. There should be none of that. You should know exactly what's going to happen, how it's going to play out, and how it's all going to work. And that's one thing I really hate that Daybreak does and that they've always done. And compared to some of the private emulation servers, like, you can talk right to developers, and like, if you propose something that's good, like, there's a good chance that they're going to fix it like that week. This type of shit is ridiculous. All of us are older. There's no mystery in this old ass game. There's no reason for any of this stuff to be like, oh, and more. No, just tell us what the more is. Give a video demonstration what's going to be so I can decide if I even want to waste my time on this crap. And I feel like they're clickbaiting people into play to see. Most of the times their clickbaits are disappointing, but this type of tactic is like from the early 2000s. Nevertheless, I'll track population data on the server. I just want to see how it does. My personal opinion is that's going to die. However, there are some ways to make this feasible, kind of going off what I think they're trying to do. They're never going to do any of this stuff, but if you have a server where you want people to be locked to level 50 for a period of 8 weeks, make it take 8 weeks. The way to do this is to put experience caps in the game. And I think that you could have a cap daily, but I think it should be every hour. You know, you can continue to kill stuff, continue to farm stuff, but the experience gain should cap per hour. And I think the way to calculate this is take the 8-week period. Say we want a casual player to hit max level in 4 weeks. Level 50 divided by 28 days, which is 4 weeks, is about 1.8 levels a day. Casual player plays 4 hours a day, 45% a level per hour. And it would take approximately 111 hours to get to level 50. Now, anybody that wants to play for 111 hours straight can still hit level 50. I think if you were to make it so you can only get 45% experience cap per hour, it would get rid of a lot of the power levelers. I mean, what are you going to do? That's like a few pulls in the deep. You can't like AoE the deep. You can't power level. I don't quite think that it's going to stop people from min-maxing. I do think that you're going to have a big rush, a crowd of level 50s after 111 hours. You could make it a day cap. You could change the experience cap however you want. You know, maybe after level 10, no matter what, for your first character, you can only get 2 levels a day or something like that. The way that they need to put the experience cap in should be based off a solid, decent, casual group killing stuff that's in their level range, or even if it's an elite group that's killing fast, but killing fast without abusing game mechanics like AoE stuns and AoE type leveling. There is a way for them to calculate something that I think would be fair and would actually make it so that there were more groups at lower levels, and that's so people weren't just rushing and getting level 50 in the first day or two, which is going to happen. Level cap per day, per hour. That's the way to do it. And it could even be calculated within level ranges. So 1 through 10, maybe no cap. 10 through 20, go ahead and see what an unrest regular group would actually experience per hour. Set the cap at that. Get rid of all of the power leveling and abuse of game mechanics to level fast, and set that cap in there per day if you want it to last longer, per hour if you still want to reward people for putting in extra time, and really cap it out so that 20 days after the server launches, there's still groups in the 20s, 30s, 40s still leveling up. And then, you know, after like the halfway point, you can reduce the cap significantly, get rid of it, whatever. You know, you could give bonuses to people on their second character, or maybe the cap's gone for a second character. Just something to slow the leveling down. And then I think being 51 for 8 weeks is kind of odd. They should have just done 1 through 51 right off the start. So, but let's say that, you know, to go from 50 to 55, they want it to be locked for 8 weeks. Well, again, 50 to 55, casual player at 4 weeks, find a casual group, set the experience cap to that per day, per hour if you want to be more rewarding to power levelers, but per day to slow down the progression. Now that's going to piss off a lot of people that maybe have like a day off or something like that, but maybe that cap moves per day. So if you don't play for a week and you hop on and play for a week, maybe you get 7 times, or set like server caps in that 4 week period. So everybody can max level up to 10, everybody can max level up to 15. And then by week 2, the max level is 30, like move that cap so that people are forced to play in those level ranges and make groups. And because that's what it seems like you're going for with the server, is to cater to the casual players, and you want people to explore and not rush and do all the raid content, then actually make it so it takes the full time or close to it. Other thing we got to do is we got to get rid of chrono. No chrono on this server, period. Chrono has ruined this game, hands down. I mean, it's great to be able to buy chrono and exchange it for items and plat and buy in, but it really has ruined it for pretty much everybody. And it's created this really weird job market for chrono farmers. So get rid of it. The other thing to do is to not only make it true box, but maybe make it solo/dual box and actually fucking enforce it. It's not hard to check the logs for parcels, trades, you know, who's grouping, buffs or interactions and flag characters by account that are commonly grouped or interacting. And then what you would do is manually review it and look for, excessive boxing, AFK, or botting behavior. I mean, that's not hard to do. You'll be able to catch them every single time. True box doesn't hurt anybody but poor people. Anybody that wants to box is just going to buy the extra computers or the extra hardware, and many computers aren't even really that much. So you're not really stopping people from boxing. You're just making it more annoying. The people that are going to box anyway. So if you're concerned about actually stopping boxing, then start flagging accounts and start reviewing that type of behavior. It would not be hard to find. I fail to understand how these guys have these AoE power level groups that are studying all these mobs and killing stuff in the deep, and nobody's like, hey, that seems kind of suspicious. Maybe go check that out. So I don't think it's actually really hard to police boxing, especially the boxing that is disruptive or is giving an unfair advantage to other players. So that's how you can actually make this server work, since it looks like you're gearing toward casual players, but I don't think that they're going to even consider or do any of that. And like I said, that's one huge disadvantage from playing on the Daybreak servers is they do not really listen to community feedback. I mean, what are they doing? Checking their forums? There's a lot of really good players that know exactly how the game should be and know how to fix it. And I guarantee you, they're not watching videos like this or videos other people have made and looking for a way to fix their server. I mean, the changes they just made, although somewhat better, still they're completely missing the point. On most of the TLPs, it gets really hard to find pickup groups after 30 days. And multi-boxing becomes the only real option. But being forced into actually multi-box is a really big downfall of modern day EverQuest. It needs to be more soloable and more manageable. So really, Daybreak needs to wake up. They're pretending that the last 10 years of player feedback has never happened. They're still forcing people to multi-box. They have outdated progression keys, chrono-dominated economies, bot armies, and unresponsive devs. Yeah, I don't know what to say, man. There's servers and private servers, especially THG, that are actually addressing the problems that EverQuest has faced for a long time. And all Daybreak is doing is, I mean, they're not even really playing around with the rule set or having any fun. They're just, the stuff they come up with, I don't know what they're trying to do. There's so many better servers to play on, and everybody's moved on. You literally have chrono farmers, boxers, and min-maxers joining these, if they join anymore. I mean, this is iteration how many now? Really cool when it started out. And then they had the bonus loot, which made it really cool to play. They keep regressing instead of actually making the game consistently better. And there's just, for the longest time, it's everybody would say, hey, this is a 25-year-old game. There's nothing they can do about it. But then you have these people in the private servers that are doing something about it, in their own spare time. So I don't buy it anymore. I just don't buy it. After watching what they did on the hero's journey and making it so that you can actually solo group content, they fixed all the progression stuff. They fixed all the traveling stuff. There's a lot more left to do, but they're basically fixing this broken ass game that these guys couldn't do for 25 years. Nobody wants to play EverQuest in its original form on a TLP. And yeah, there'll be people say, oh, I do. Go play on Project 99 for real. You'll thank me later. It's the original, as you remember, hardcore version. And there's pop lock servers and other stuff. There's not really a reason to play on these TLPs anymore. And people think they're gonna make it through the whole thing. I think I saw it calculated one time at 5 to 6 years. You're not gonna play EverQuest on a TLP for that long, and it's gonna die off. And so what you're really doing is just running a few expansions for a little nostalgia. And there's better ways to do it. To have this server released, to cater to casual players, just should be kind of offensive in the way they do it. Those people are gone. They're not coming back. You've already fucked up. You've already made the TLPs are for raiders, botters, min-maxers. Every now and then you'll catch a little wave of people that start out for nostalgia of, leveling in the old zones and stuff like that. But it becomes pretty apparent what the TLP is and what it isn't. And you can spend a nice solid 3 months or 2 months, getting to the max level and stuff like that. And then the expansion comes out and you got to do it again. And our expansion comes out and you got to do it again. And it's exhausting. I do think that anybody that's watching this should actually give the hero's journey a try before the server comes out. What I really want to know is, if you play something like the hero's journey, can you actually play real EverQuest again on the TLPs, if that's even real EverQuest? I want to see somebody play THJ and then start on this TLP and tell me they're having fun. That's what I want to see, because for me, after Mischief and Teak, I played on for a little while, that tradable loot aspect of it, you don't really have the time, and then you realize how much time you're actually wasting, just with quality of life things like traveling and getting around, and then not being able to do content unless you got other players, and then being forced to multi-box. We all love the game, but it's too much time and hassle now. And you can breeze through pretty much everything you want to see on the hero's journey. Get that nostalgia experience for a few months, and instead of committing to a 5 to 6 year venture, or waiting forever for your expansion to come out, or trying to time it in your life so that expansion comes out. It's just, when's it going to be enough?
We got P99, we got TLP, we got private servers and tests that's free. Some of us pay, some of us don't, some of us play, some of us won't. Did you just break my mess? Did you just train me? Did you just miss a healing? Are you gonna rest me? And please I need a sow, and please I need a rest. Please I need that sword, I'll take what you got.